Dr. Joseph Martin, welcome. Good to see you again. And the topic for today is an important, essential topic: financial crucifixion, the killing sword of death. Financial crucifixion, the killing sword of debt, in growing debt. Now, obviously, I'm trying to parallel some symbolic events here out of history and out of what's happening today globally on our planet. I'm wondering how many of you, and my sense is, my intuition and my knowledge would be that most of us, if not almost all of us, except for 1% of 1%, who are seemingly financially well off and controlling the stock markets, the corporations, and so on, the rest of us are feeling really strapped, really debt ridden, really heavy, really fearful, really wondering how it's all going to either collapse, which it is going to, or how we're going to personally move forward. How can we do this? I have other videos on this topic of the how to move through it, but let me just state clearly and very simply what the stakes are here. We need to know what our issues are before we actually end up doing anything about it. Now, just as you open your heart and open your mind to this consciousness, I'm sure most of you are feeling the thorny crown of debt on top of your head, and you're feeling the sword into the right side of yourself of those people who are in charge with the immoral intentions and goals and activities that are going on over the planet that are bleeding us all dry, including the earth herself. And that hammered into our hands are the nails of what we could call impossible credit and overextension of credit well beyond our means and capacity to have an income, and the interest that's charged on that, whether it's through your mortgage or through your credit cards. The hammering in of these nails of credit and interest payments monthly are in our hands and putting us on the cross, to the point where most of us will feel the impossibility of getting any kind of good profit from the recompense or the labor of our hands. It seems not our hands are not only tied now, but our hands are nailed to the cross, and it's impossible for us to create a fulfilling, satisfying, and economically stable lifestyle for ourselves, our families, and our friends. And then hammered into the nails of our feet, with the nails of our feet, are the increasing debt load that is coming on us. It's not only the personal debt, it's also the endless kind of collective debt that seems to be rife in all the institutions and all the banks. It's almost as if somebody's making money off us and we're the ones that pay. It's as if the hammering in of all these kind of debt loads that we're all feeling is just such a weight and such a killing field for ourselves, is really taking its toll on people that I know and I talk to and I listen to. It's in the news, it's in the streets, it's in the gym, it's everywhere I talk to people in the stores. They're feeling that the thorny crown, the nails in their hands, the nails in their feet, they're being impossible for even young students who've gone to college and university to ever see the possibility of repaying off all their student debts. And this is actually not only immoral, but this is anti-productive for individuals and their hope and their dreams and their goals in life, but it certainly creates a hopeless social chaos for all of us in every nation of the world. I will not go into all the statistics of every nation where this is happening. Well, there's an obviously a great symbolism here between Jesus and his crucifixion, and it's like each one of us now in the middle class and the lower class and of all backgrounds are becoming the sacrificial lamb for those who want to stay in control and power and just rape and torture and take everything they want, whether it's through the hegemony of creating and orchestrating the downfall of all the indigenous tribes of the world or the third world nations There's a great book which I think you would really enjoy reading, John Perkins, The Confessions of an Economic Hitman, somebody who was the economic hitman for the CIA and then who went on to disrupt, destroy economies and peoples of third world countries and indigenous groups, and eventually saw the light in a moral sense and decided to write about the truth of what he had experienced and what he had done. Now, obviously, this is a heavy topic, but I can imagine that every one of you are feeling this weight on your mind and on your feelings and your heart and your body. And in the morning, when you try to get up out of bed and start another day and wondering how much of the work and the labor you do will actually bring you profit and fulfillment spiritually and psychologically, but just profit financially for yourself and your families. And how can and will you get ahead? As I say, there are other videos that you can watch that we have done that you can listen to and take the positive steps to overcome this. Now, if we go back to an earlier point in history in Jesus' life, just at his birth, we're celebrating Christmas within just a few days here. I'd like to bring up another symbolic term called the Massacre of the Innocents. The Massacre of the Innocents is an actual historical term. It's when King Herod, the king of the Jews at the time when Jesus was born, he was told by one of his visionaries that there was reputed to be in Bethlehem the King of Kings, the King of all the Jews and all peoples, born at this particular time. And he was so fearful and wanting to dominate and stay and keep control for himself, stay in power, that he just off the cuff commanded his officers to go to Bethlehem and to kill. First he said, oh, well, let's kill every newborn boy under the age of 1. And then he said, oh, just to be safe, let's kill every newborn boy under the age of 2. So his soldiers did go there and they did kill all these children. This is known in history as the Massacre of the Innocents. Luckily, through a dream and through other omens, Jesus and Joseph and Mary, the couple, his father and mother, were told to leave before this all happened, and they fled to Egypt, as you all know. It's part of the Christmas story. It's Jesus' life story. I'd like to suggest that what's happening on the planet now is the massacre of the innocents all over again. Those King Herods, the people from Goldman Sachs and other transnational banks and transnational corporations and those in the World Trade Organization or the International Monetary Fund or any person in government who is immorally and consciously willing to set aside all ethics and sense of value to create power and money and wealth for themselves, knowing other people will suffer greatly. And of course, we know from 2008, with the fall of many banks, that so many people, not just in the Western world, in America and Canada and Europe, but in all the nations of the world, have suffered greatly through this financial heist and crucifixion, and that has taken away all our, not only our rights, but certainly a lot of our ability to make money and pay our credit back. So it's, in a way, it's created yet another circumstance of massacring the innocents and our trust in government and our trust in corporations and our trust in people that perhaps should not be trusted because they don't trust themselves and therefore we can't trust them either. This is common in every civilization culture. We know this through history and anthropology. It's happening now, but when you're in it, you get a choice to do something different about it as well. Educate yourself and then choose to do the right thing. Nonviolent communication, nonviolent activism in occupying love and occupying freedom in your heart is really what it's all about. I feel for the Millennial Generation and the next generation, those under the age of 40 or maybe even under the age of 32, who are being massacred. Not only is their innocence being taken away from them, their trust is being dissolved in people. No wonder this generation statistically has no interest in being involved in government or voting, and I can understand why. Not only will they not have the financial liquidity with money that our boomer generation had. They will not get the jobs that we had, even though they have great educations and masters and PhDs in terms of their degrees. But they will not be able to sustain the lifestyle that the previous generations have had. This is a massacre of their innocence. Their hopes and dreams will be dashed, even though they tried to do some entrepreneurial work and develop some community kind of lifestyle and giving back and charity worldwide, which is a great thing about the millennial generation. They're going to find it exceedingly difficult to come up with all the positive creative steps to overcome this and do something different with a whole new set of values, attitudes, worldview, and ethos, and actual steps, economic steps to living the new economy for the new generation, for the new heaven on earth, if we can say it that way. It is coming. We have to co-participate and co-create it, though, to make it real. So, we wonder about the children, all the indigo children, the diamond children, those who are the children of the millennials who were born since the turn into the new millennium. What will life be like for them and 7 generations to come? We are continuing to massacre their innocence and their innocent chances for having any kind of fulfilling life, spiritually, psychologically, emotionally, relationally, socially, in terms of business and career, and developing every aspect of their own life and livelihoods. This is a serious, sincere call to action and higher consciousness, a higher Christ consciousness, to realize that we are victims no longer, and we can call forth our inner victorhood, if we want to put it that way. The long road, the long walk to freedom, the long road to freedom, to quote the autobiography of Nelson Mandela, is indeed a long road to freedom. We've been crucified for many generations now. We've been in prison in Robben Island, and they've been robbing our souls and robbing our bank books and our sense of dignity. No longer will we be prisoners on Robben Island, and no longer will we let the robbers get away with murder in all the symbolic ways we're speaking. The long road to freedom is the only way for emancipation of the individuals and society. We will come to the place where there'll be one person here who will, meaning each one of us here, will create and co-create in a higher consciousness the notion of one family, one people, one heart, one mind, one drum, one circle, one health for all of us, and one co-participating new economy where we can all be fully enlivened and have all our needs met physically, emotionally, spiritually, and psychologically. Lots to talk about in this regard. I wish you all well. Self-educate, self-realize, and enjoy everything. All love and blessings.